The Cubs have a clear opening at third base, and one of the best third basemen in baseball might be available in 2024. Is there a match on the north side? Here we go.
Are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Alongside Sam Olber, Matt Cozy, and this is Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Please support the show and be a part of the Locked On Cubs community by following and subscribing on all audio platforms. And you can watch, subscribe, and leave a comment on YouTube. Thank you so much for making us your first listen every day. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. We're 1 day away from the first spring training game, Cubs-Giants, 2:05 p.m. Central Standard. And opening day is 34 days away on Thursday, March 30th. We do have some news and notes to get to out of Sloan Park on Thursday before we get to some hypothetical signings and then best and worst of the week. Sam, great to see you as always. Thanks for being a part of the program. And any ice by you at all? Anything frozen?
What is this, my first show? Thanks for being a part of the program. I'm on every program. Is there any ice by me? I don't know.
Okay. Thanks for the update. So Marcus Stroman was announced as the starter. This might be a goofy show on Friday. Marcus Stroman was announced as the spring training opener on Saturday against the Giants, 2:05 p.m. Central. His first pitch. It's going to be live on Marquee Sports Network and 670 The Score. Stroman starting is a bit unusual since the rotation locks. Usually the 4 or 5 people that are slated for the rotation typically don't appear until maybe that second week of spring. However, Stroman is likely going to start opening day on March 30th, and he is pitching for Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic. Adrian Sampson will pitch behind Stroman on Saturday and enter out of the bullpen. Thoughts on Marcus Stroman leading us off and playing real baseball on Saturday?
Did you see what I tweeted back at you when you tweeted today that he was pitching?
Yeah, so I tweeted this morning about, is today the day the Cubs were going to announce their starter, which they did. And you tweeted back Carlos Silva.
Yeah.
That is a great pick. I believe a 2011 or 2012 Chicago Cub.
Yeah. I think you hit it on the head. I think because he's pitching.
How about Rodrigo Lopez?
I think I saw Rodrigo
Former
Lopez.
Oriole.
I saw Rodrigo Lopez in 2012 beat Roy Halladay at Wrigley Field.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What date was that?
That was, someone will have to fact check me. It was midsummer. It was hot. I want to say July.
Okay. Someone
will fact check me on that. I think it was 2012.
I'm not going to. So.
Yeah. I think you hit it on the head. I think he's pitching early so he could get some work in before the WBC. Otherwise, not much there. If he gives up 8 earned, he gives up 8 earned. If he pitches well, he pitches well. Work on some things, stay healthy, get a good work in. Sampson coming in next will be of somewhat interest because, like we've talked about on the show, he is the leading candidate for that 5th starter spot. And I think if he pitches just fairly well in this spring, you'll see him pitch that 5th game of the year. I think that's Cincinnati. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I know you're going to be excited, and we'll be following along, watching the games. And your resting face is making me laugh.
Well, we might be watching the ball game together on Saturday.
Yeah, might's a strong word.
Okay. So also we're thinking about
we will.
doing a watch along at some point this spring. Let us know in the comments or on Twitter at Matt_Cozy, at Sam Olber. whether you'd be interested in us doing a watch along, even if it was 2 or 3 innings.
Who
One of
wouldn't
these games.
be?
Well, I just wanted to throw it out there, generate some interest, generate a tease.
We go live and we're watching a Cubs game, and you don't want to watch along with us, then you got the wrong program.
Okay, well, I don't know about that.
No, everybody would want to do that. It's spring training. Make it fun.
Oh, it would be a blast.
Yeah.
I would order Domino's.
I get the people that say, hey, I don't want to watch a regular season game. I'm trying to lock in, and Sam's, yelling at every ball and strike. Nobody wants to hear that. But in spring training,
Well, we'll see.
In spring training, you make it a little spicier. You know what I mean? It's fun. Instead of watching, number 85 ground out the third, the 6th inning.
Right. We're not talking about hot sauce. So, yeah, basically what I'm looking for is very little of results and more of just making pitches from Stroman and Sampson. I know that it's easier said than done to say that as an evaluator or as a fan, but if they are trying stuff like you are, positing there, that if they give up X amount of runs, I can't really take much away because they're trying different sequences. Maybe they're trying new pitches for the first time. What do you think?
The only thing you take away is health, especially from a veteran. Just stay healthy. Stroman's these starts mean nothing. Just like I said, Sampson's a little different. Mervis is a little different. PCA and those guys getting their first taste of big league ball, that's a little bit different. But for the Swansons, the Stromans, the Suzukis, the Horners, the Tyones, just get through it healthy, and we'll see you when it counts. Did you get a chance to see Bellinger take Smiley deep today?
Yes, that's also on my rundown, Sam Olber. So Drew Smiley garnered the most attention so far.
Left on left.
In a live BP session.
He got hit hard today.
Some takeaways from there. Cody Bellinger smashed a home run to put the Cubs up 1-0. The top of the first inning. That was to left central.
When you say Cubs are up 1-0 on the Cubs.
Right.
Yeah, that's always interesting.
Yeah, blue versus white.
I always don't know who to, when Bellinger hits that homer, are you happy for Bellinger or are you angry for Smiley? I'm happy for Bellinger. That's more significant for him.
A few batters later, Eric Hosmer did the same thing.
Hosmer at a homer?
Connecting to left central. Might have been deeper than Bellinger's, according to Jordan Bastian of Cubs.com.
Pause the show. I'm gonna go get a scratch off from the local gas station.
Okay.
Maybe it's a lottery day.
So yeah, some long balls off Smiley, but then the lefty later struck out Happ and Swanson to wrap his day on the hill.
Right.
So some mixed results from him. Drew Smiley is he locked into the 4th spot? I guess so.
Locked in. Locked on, locked in.
And Dexter Fowler, Sam, was there today. He embraced manager David Ross.
Let me say one quick note on Smiley.
Health
for him really important. He was pitching. Don't get me wrong. He came back and pitched well. Before he hurt that oblique, I think it was against the Brewers warming up. He was throwing like 93, 94 in that game. He was not only was he pitching well, he was closer to dominant than he was just being average. And then he came back. Remember, he had that rough start in San Fran right before the deadline, and everybody was up in arms. Why did you start him? You could have traded him, et cetera, et cetera. And then he had a strong finish. He's an interesting guy. Again, just stay healthy. Obliques are weird, and
right.
I'm almost positive that's what he hurt. Do you remember that game? I think it was on the 4th.
4th of July, right?
It was a holiday. It was the second game of a doubleheader on a holiday. Maybe it wasn't the 4th, but it was a holiday, and they had a doubleheader, and this was the nightcap, and he was pitching well, and then he hurt something in warmups.
And would you be surprised that the Cubs went double righty, double lefty? So
yes,
there's no way Smiley follows Steele, right?
I would be surprised. Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to fact check myself on when he got hurt, but it's not that important.
I also looked into getting some Locked On Cubs shirts today. What size are you?
I go large for a T.
A large for a T. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're not
That's really
talking about the
awesome.
iced version.
That's really cool.
All right.
Is there a date on this?
So coming up next,
Uh,
we are going to dip our toe again for the second time this week into the potential 2024 free agent pool, as a certain star third baseman has indicated his willingness to opt out after this year. Stay
Memorial
tuned.
Day.
Today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar, one of the best snacks to get you through your day because it's healthy but actually tasty. They're so delicious, you won't think they're so good for you, but they are. Covered in 100% real chocolate, unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. You know, Sam and I are probably going to watch that Cubs game on Saturday together. Why clog up on snack food when we can have a Built Bar?
Right.
And
Especially you.
help us through our day. We've talked about Built Bars at Built.com, but now you don't need to wait around to get a box online. You can also get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club, where there's 4-bar boxes of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puffs. If you're close to a Walmart or Sam's Club, run in and grab a box with our hit flavors, brownie batter and churro, and more. And try a Built Bar today. Welcome back, Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen every day.
Yeah, I'd like to make one quick note on Built Bar. You know, it's a really healthy and great snack, and you know what you shouldn't have it with is a Mountain Dew, Matthew.
No, that would be
Counterproductive, contradictory, hypocritical.
I'll have
all
a
the
water with that.
Yeah, a nice tall glass
Maybe
of
with
ice
some
water.
lemon.
Yeah, soothe the throat a little bit.
You never know. So Manny Machado, Sam, plans to opt out of his current Padres contract following the 2023 campaign. Machado has, of course, been in the league since he was 19 years young with the Orioles, 6-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glover, has finished in the top 9 of the MVP 5 times, including runner-up just this past year when he slashed 298, 366, 531 with 32 homers, 37 doubles, and 102 runs batted in. Exciting to speculate, as always. The Cubs have a clear opening at third base. It's really one of their only openings on the field. If Machado is added, you could only dream about the Cubs infield potentially being one of the best, if not the best, in the game. Third to first, Machado, Swanson, Horner, and Mervis. He's, of course, a legitimate power threat. With him, the Cubs are firmly contenders.
Mm-hmm.
I know we spoke of Ohtani earlier this week, but I'm not equally excited. But this seems like a great match that if Jed Hoyer could get this done.
I'm not as big of a fan as him as you. He's had some attitude issues in the past. Look, if the Cubs get Manny Machado, I'm not going to whine about it. Guy's obviously one of the top talents in the league. But for me, I think if the Cubs are going to make a massive financial splash next year, I would expect it to be Ohtani. And if it's not, I just think Machado is just going to go. You know, who knows where he's going to go? I know it's a logical fit for the Cubs, but for me, I think that one is a little bit more. I think more teams will be involved as well.
Okay.
I think that one's a little bit more unlikely than Ohtani. But again, I mean, we're talking about, we're picking at straws here. If you were to tell me right now, give or take, Machado's a Cub in 2024, I'm taking it 10 times out of 10. It's just that one doesn't, like the Ohtani thing. I kind of like hit my head on the pillow and dream about. The Machado thing's more in the Correa land. I know he's a better player than Correa. I'm just saying in the Devers land. That would be awesome. But there's some things with Machado. I'm really interested to see how he performs this year. He was awesome last year. Kind of took a big step forward as a leader with all the Tatis drama that surrounded that team. And I thought he did a really good job. And I thought it was a really good sign for him going forward. Because if you remember, he had issues with the Dodgers. And then, remember he got traded to the Dodgers mid-year. And and they boo him every time he's there now. And he had some Orioles stuff, but now it seems like he's grown up, and he's obviously really a once in a generation type talent in terms of his, just his ability to throw across the diamond at weird angles, his power. He's a terrific player. So I basically just rambled for 50 minutes saying I'd love to have Manny Machado, but I'm not like going crazy over it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, it's another player that's fun to consider. Even in some of the comments the other day, a lot of listeners brought up Manny Machado, anticipating that we may talk about it, which we are now.
Yeah.
And some of them even asked Ohtani or Machado. And for me, it's either or. Either or is fine.
Well, there's a clear hierarchy. I mean,
hierarchy, but one of them, would like to bring over one of them.
You take one of them, but if you're ranking them, they're about the same hitter. One of them's a star pitcher.
Yeah. And I think the financial aspect of this is going to be, there's going to be a hierarchy as well. But I think Machado commands a deal that starts with the number 3,
at least. Yeah.
At least in years, 8 plus, obviously.
What did Correa, he had a weird deal. What did Bogarts end up getting in San Diego? Was it like
11 for 285?
Yeah, so it's going to be it's going to be significantly more than that. He's younger.
It's got to be above that.
He's younger than Bogarts. I think as a free agent he'll be 30, and he's a tier above at least. So right there, I guess you're right. Probably maybe 10 for 350. He'll seek 400, but you don't know what the market will do next year, right? Like it's different from year to year. But yeah, I gotta say, I'm looking at his numbers right now.
Oh yeah, a mark of consistency.
I didn't realize. I know he's one of the best players in the league. He was unbelievable last year.
Oh yeah.
And the only reason, by the way, he doesn't
150 games, by the way.
The only reason he doesn't win Gold Gloves anymore is because he's in the NL, and unfortunately, if you just go down a little bit south, we know who's going to win all the Gold Gloves.
Right. And there's an arch there, by the way.
Because I would say him, Chapman, and Arenado are the 3 best defensive third basemen in the biz.
That's a good trio, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really – he finished second in MVP voting last year.
He did. He did, yeah. Yeah. Well, and I get why
102 Ribby.
I get why the Padres may not be have their hands full because they're crowded with high-priced players. They just brought in Bogarts, like you mentioned. There's a thought that Bogarts will eventually move to another spot, presumably third. Where does Tatis play? Soto is a free agent after 2024, so maybe they do move on.
Here's a great case for Machado over Ohtani if you want to play that card of long-term investment. Now that I have the page in front of us, I'd still go Ohtani, but ready for this, Matt?
Yeah.
Since 2015, games played. You ready?
Oh, it's crazy, right?
162, 157, 156, 162, 156, 2020, 60 out of 60, 153, 150.
You'll pay for that.
That is in all sports, by the way, including what they call the NBA. That is the most underrated trait right now in sports is availability.
Wow, interesting.
No, it's factual. And credit to him for playing. So yeah, would love to have Manny Machado. More psyched over the possibility of Ohtani, just because Ohtani changes the whole city.
He does, yeah.
I think if I were the Southside Ball Club, which thank God I'm not.
Well, they tried to get him before.
They should really be thinking about that, but that would require Reinsdorf to sell off, 8 different properties because
the highest deal he gave was 2 days ago to Benintendi.
Benintendi for like what, like
75 M's.
75. I mean, that's a joke. Talk about an organization of poverty.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing to this great city.
No, it is. It is embarrassing.
Yeah.
And the Bulls aren't exactly, running out Pippen and Jordan anymore either.
Right. The Bears played a spaceship, but thank gosh they're moving Arlington Heights, huh?
No, right. And the Blackhawks, I haven't watched a hockey game in 12 years, but apparently they're not doing so hot.
Okay. So coming up next, we have best and worst of the week. We certainly had some of those this week, and you'll hear about them coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel.
Focus up. Come on.
Why are you making that remark, man? Come on. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. We're so excited about our new sports betting partner because they're the number one sports book in America, FanDuel. New customers join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed. When you place your first $5 bet, just sign up at FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. All in an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, at FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Locked On Cubs. Welcome back into Locked On Cubs. Thanks for making us your first listen. Shout out to everybody on the audio side, and spread the word about us on that side as well. Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more. I am now comfortable saying we're the number one Cub show on YouTube. Want to get there in audio as well. I have a pretty clear-cut worst of the week. I thought I had a best. It's escaping me. But one of my best since we've recorded this segment was our final, despite the final result, which was a loss, was that final game for the freshman basketball team last Friday, in which you were in attendance. I really appreciated that. We also had a great gathering as a team with the coaches, players, and parents on Saturday night, which was awesome. Intense game. We did end up losing by 3. We're not able to get a shot off with 16 seconds left to tie that ball game.
Good basketball game.
But thanks for being there. It was an enjoyable year. I had a fun ride helping out with that sport for the first time.
No, it was a good basketball game. Well-coached team. My best of the week.
Do you have a best?
No. I wish I did. I guess technically the best of the week can be the fact that the ice storm that was supposed to hit yesterday didn't really.
That's my worst. It was awful here.
Oh, it was really so for me. I knock on wood, I was driving quite fine. But the worst of the week for me, and hopefully nobody in my building listens to the show, and if they do, they do. The parking in my building, right? So it's a free for all. You pull up. There's
you
spots.
Park in the lot.
You park in the lot, and there's plenty of parking.
Plenty of spots. Yeah.
Everybody is looking to get that prime 4 or 5 spots, but one thing I've noticed since I've moved in, and it hasn't been that long, is I would say 9 out of 10 times I pull up to the lot, at least 2 cars are parked in 2 spots.
What?
And look, folks, I'm not exactly Dale Earnhardt or Jeff Gordon when it comes to getting behind a wheel, okay? So I'm not trying to pretend that I'm Mr. Great Driver, and I don't like driving police. Nick or people that have driven with me will be the first to tell you that I'm mediocre at best. But for the courtesy of others, look to your left, look to your right, make sure you're not over the line. Hey,
right.
Especially when it's
winter,
especially when it's hailing out, and it's the difference between me getting a spot right next to the door or me, walking about 6.5 miles. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah.
I wish I had a better best. Something good happened this week. I ate well.
How your gums doing?
That's not a best.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my worst is the freezing rainstorm that covered all of McHenry County. And
people lost power in McHenry County.
Over 30,000 customers went to sleep Wednesday without power. I was one of them. Many trees were down as well.
I didn't know you were going to say that.
The power went back on at 6:05 a.m. Thursday, Central Standard.
Well, yeah, make sure you clarify that.
But not a pleasant experience.
I was actually
it did live up to the hype.
I was doing a work meeting on Zoom last night, and I have a lot of employees that live in the McHenry County area, and they couldn't log on.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
But we
It's
got
not
past that, and some 40s I see next week in the temperatures. So
Do we have an early forecast for opening day, or is that too
No.
far out? Somebody
No.
get Skilling on. Get Skilling.
Well, you're joking, but I'd like to have someone in the weather industry come on and kind of forecast the spring. Hey, what do you anticipate? What's the wind going to be at Wrigley?
That would be one of the best shows. I would have such a fun time.
We could do a whole episode on that.
I took a meteorology course in college.
Really?
Yeah, I did well.
Maybe we can have your professor on.
It was Rick Mayo. He used to do the weather on Fox. It was my teacher.
Rick DeMaio.
Rick DeMaio. Yeah, that was him. That was my teacher.
Wow,
yeah.
On Fox, I believe, 32.
Yeah. He was my teacher. The class was at like 9 p.m. on Wednesdays at Loyola.
Oh boy. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll maybe I'll look into that. We're gonna do a mailbag on Monday. I have copied over a couple questions already, but please hit us up on Twitter or our text line 312-834-4634. Part of our show on Monday will be mailbag. The Cubs play this weekend. We're also going to recap some early signs.
How fun is that? How fun is that?
We got here.
Cubs are playing this weekend. Say that again for the folks in the back.
We made it. Let's go, player. Come on.
Anything to get me away from NBA basketball.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button for Locked On Cubs on YouTube and smash the like button on all your favorite Locked On Cubs episodes, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and more. And again, for the mailbag, drop us a tweet or 312-834-4634. Thanks for making Locked On Cubs your first listen every day. Now make your second Locked On MLB Prospects. Maybe we'll have host Lindsey Crosby on to help us identify, hey, who's number 72, who's number 95, the prospects on the north side. He's a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.